So here I am outside my house, and I have to indicate that the sound on this video may be rather poor because I'm just using, whatever the microphone is on the camera. But anyhow, it's been a long time since I've wandered through the wooded lot next to my house, where I organized kind of what I think of as a Buddhist stupa. So, if anybody's interested, this would be something that would show and display some of the things in that wooded lot, and in particular focus on the carved stones which have embedded in them various Buddhist mantras from various Buddhist traditions. But right now you can see it's actually December 23rd in 2021, so the leaves have pretty much fallen and have been removed from my grass for the most part, but you'll hear me as I walk, sort of walking in the grass that has still some leaves in it. And just going to the left right quick to focus on the house itself, what I have here in front of the house is a Kuan statue, a stone statue. And you'll notice, as is the case with many iconographic renderings of Kuan or Avalokiteshvara, that she's holding in her left hand, a scripture, which of course is the Prajnaparamita scripture, the perfection of wisdom scripture. I don't recall exactly what it is in the right hand, maybe a flower or some kind of bud. I have a book that talks about the different iconographic forms of Kuan Yin, but I haven't focused in terms of study on that particular one. Now, over here, and I hope I'm not moving too fast, and I hope this is sound that can be understood, under this Japanese maple tree is another statue of Kuan Yin. I used to have this one out on my back deck, but I moved it out here. You can kind of see it there, and I'm going to swing around if I can do it without jarring this camera too much. And so you see my shadow there, which is not good. And I'll try to use the zoom feature. So there you can see, and she's holding a basket. I'm assuming like a basket of food and fruit and things for people to give to them in their need. And we have many people now in the world who are hungry and who have needs, many who are not getting enough nutrition, which is very tragic and sad. So anyway, now we're going to move away and move to the side. And I think what I want to do first is go up and, actually what I want to do is go to the left. One of the most sort of pervasive and popular mantra within Tibetan Buddhism, of course, is Om Mani Padme Hum. And maybe by seeing the trunk of this tree and seeing how tall and big this tree is, you can tell how big this stone is. I'm going to say it's probably about 4 feet across. And on it you see what we have carved is Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Which, as I think I indicated in another video, my understanding that the folks in Tibet would write this mantra on little pieces of paper and put them inside their prayer wheels. So actually this is a path, a stone path that I laid down, but you can't see it too good because there are leaves. So the trick here is actually for me to not fall. You can hear the car going by on the road, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up, up, up. And this particular stone is actually, I need to trim some of the branches around it because it's getting rather overgrown. But you'll recognize it, many of you will recognize it as the mantra that says, that I revere the Lotus Sutra. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. So this, of course, references the wonderful, wonderful Siddharma Pundarika Sutra, which is revered particularly by schools and sects which evolved from Nichiren, the 13th century Dharma master monk, who was in the Tendai school and who later left that tradition in order to establish his own lineage. So going back to this path, this path is like prajna, emptiness, void. You can't really see it because of all the leaves. Anyhow, there is actually a path here, and there are stones on either side of the path. It's a crisp, brisk fall day, warmer than one would expect, and of course that's related to climate change, which is a bad thing around the world. But for us here in western North Carolina, it just means that we have, more mild weather here in middle to late December, when it really should be a lot colder, and we should probably have snow on the ground. So anyhow, going on here, we'll see what we can see. Over here on the left, I have not carved things into these two stones, but I have created something. Gorinko, is that the name of a stupa, of a little stupa or a little cairn that has a particular number of stones associated with it? I don't have my references right here at the tip of my tongue, but this is kind of a crude version of that. Gorinko, I think it is. And, here we see, of course, a rendering of Buddha along with Jizo Bodhisattva. He's the Bodhisattva who, or at least this statue is what I think of him as, Jizo. I actually got it in, I think, like a Pier 1 store or someplace like that. He's the Bodhisattva who does many things. He goes into the hells to save people in the hells. And also, he gives particular attention to the needs of children and travelers. So very, very revered Bodhisattva in Japan, and I personally greatly admire him and his attributes. And by the way, those are actually cemented. I had a guy to cement that the stand that they're on to that big rock, and then them to the stand or the platform. Behind it, you see, again, a stone that I haven't yet carved anything on. I'm thinking of maybe even carving my YouTube channel name onto that, Akala Akala. That would be pretty egotistical, but, then again, I don't claim to be especially pure of mind. And in this one in the front, something like, I'm not sure, maybe Nama Buddha, something like that. Okay, going on in the path. Got the sun up there, creating some shadows, it looks like, of the trees. I try to keep this fairly cleaned up. It's hard, really, with video to see the scope of this lot. I don't know how big it is, maybe just under an acre, I suppose. Right there you see the back of a grotto that I've created for Kuan Yin, and later on we will see the front of it. But for right now, let's just continue on this path. I hear an airplane. Again, the sounds on this may be pretty poor. Feel free to mute it, put on some music, relax. Hopefully the actual video is not so jarring as to be discombobulating, if that's a word. And up here we see we're approaching a statue of the Buddha. Again, I just found this at, Pier 1 or one of those type of stores. But I've surrounded him with large rocks to serve as his platform. Nama Shakyamuni Buddha, Nama Buddha, Nama Buddha. And around here, I came across a guy who does garden pieces, and I kind of commissioned for him to do a rendering of Jizo. You may or may not be able to tell that it looks like Jizo because it's pretty crude, and it looks like it may be deteriorating in the context of the weather. But anyhow, I think of this carving. It's made out of some kind of, I'm not sure what kind of material, but it does give me a sense of Jizo out here in the wooded lot. Now, here we come upon the Stupa area, and I'm sorry about that leaf blower that I hear. It's really annoying and creates kind of sound pollution, if you will. But I live in a neighborhood and people do that. They blow leaves with leaf blowers. But here is what I've called it. I call it Amitayus Stupa. And of course, Amitayus means Buddha of infinite life, and that is Amita. He is called either Buddha of infinite life or Buddha of infinite light. And just beyond the stone with that carving in it that you see, I have a granite vertical stone that is upright and says the Nembutsu, Namu Amida Butsu, the 6 Chinese characters. Really fantastic. I really love that. And that one has the embedded letters painted in white.